Peace and love, family. Just wanted to come and share another piece, something that the Lord gave me today. I was having a conversation with a good brother of mine in the Lord. We were talking about the parable or the story of the prodigal son, and it really just touched me today when we were talking about it, reminded me of why I really connected with the prodigal son. How, and long story short, I'll be brief on the story, but to paraphrase it, it was a father with two sons. The father walked with the Lord, and his younger son just wanted his inheritance. He wanted to get out, get away from the house, get away from his family and what he had believed, and go live his life how he wanted to live it. So he did that. He went to his father, got his inheritance, and he left and took that money and lived the life that he wanted to live until that money was gone. And when that money was gone, so was everybody connected to it, right? And so he found himself in need, and no one cared or lended any help to him. He found himself working a job that, wasn't good for him. So, he came to his senses, and then he decided to go back to his father, because he knew his father was merciful enough to take him back and at least give him a job. If not to recognize him as his son, but to at least give him a job. He knew his father would do that. So anyway, I related to it myself, and I actually was inspired to write a piece I wanted to share with y'all, so I'm gonna read it. It says, I love Yah's word more than my own. I love his thoughts more than my own. I love his feelings more than my own. I love his way more than all others, including my own. He allowed me to exhaust my own to convince me of my need for him above me. His humility, found when I was humbled, gave me grace to save my soul in the palm of his hand. I believed and still believe his word in my flesh saved my soul. And again, relating to the younger son, the prodigal son, I found myself also in a place where God has showed me, that it was my pride that had separated me from him and wanting to do things my way. And, if I couldn't get it my way, I didn't want it, right? So God will give you your way, right? He'll hand you over to whatever it is you want to do that you think is going to make you happy. That's what the father did to his son and gave him his inheritance and let him go. He didn't even fight him, but then when the son came back, he didn't even want to be recognized as his father's son. He was like, you ain't even got to call me your son, right? I just want a job. I won't even tell nobody that you're my father, But the father's response, the father wouldn't even let the son finish his speech, right? Before he was like, my son, and telling everybody to get the best for him and throw a party. And then the older son, who had never left and always followed his father's directions, and, he was jealous, that this party was being thrown. He felt like his father was throwing this party celebrating his younger brother's sin, and the father clarified to him that we wasn't celebrating his sin, right? We were celebrating his humility, because by grace we are saved. God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble. And when we humble ourselves, we find grace to return to the Father, and that was the Lord just reminded me that, why I love his word so much. I just love it more than my own word. I love it because I've already exhausted me, right? You got to get to a point where you've had enough of you. You're leading the way, right? And you believe that God can do better than you. As long as we believe that we can do better than God can do for us, we'll stumble and fall. But as soon as we decide to believe that him over me is just a better way, right? Then by grace, you get things that you never even expected or even imagined. Because his grace is beyond what we can expect or imagine. So I just want to share that with y'all, man. Peace and love.